Welcome to the Ink and Alchemy podcast, where passion meets the pen.
Whispers turn to rivers when you write.
Hello and welcome back to Ink and Alchemy. So today, in our official first episode, we're going to be talking about throwing up on paper. What does that mean and how do I do it? So throwing up on paper is a term that I coined years ago when I started writing again. I had sat down at the computer and I had no clue what I wanted to write. I just knew that I wanted to write something. So I went to my computer, sat down, I put my hands on the keyboard, and I just decided that I'm just going to write the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not going to fight it. And I proceeded to write about a paragraph. So many emotions bubbled up inside of me, and it made me nauseous, gave me like hot and cold flashes, and I thought I was going to throw up all over my keyboard. I jumped up and I ran because I thought, I was trying to run to the bathroom before I threw up. I never threw up. It was just an emotion. And it was really surprising to me that emotions can make you feel that way. So I realized these are all these things that I had bubbled up inside of me. That part that I wrote in that book, I did not publish until like the fourth book in my very first series. So it wasn't something that I put into the first book I was writing. I didn't look back at it until then. I saved it, but I never went back and finished what I was writing because it was so intense emotionally. But from that came the term throwing up on paper. It was what got me writing, because after that, I think it was after that, it was 2 weeks. I took 2 weeks. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't understand what that experience was. It really creeped me out. But 2 weeks later, I decided to give it another chance. And I decided not to do it on the computer, not to start on the computer. The computer was like too fast for me. So I decided to write it by hand. And I started in a journal. And I wrote until I couldn't, it was hurting my hand to write. So that's when I put on my big girl pants and I went onto the computer and I started writing, and I proceeded to write 10,000 words a day. And it sounds crazy, but it was just the book. If you hear some authors say the book writes itself, well, literally the book was writing itself. So I was just trying to keep up at that point. So it took me 3 weeks to write the first draft of my book. But back then I didn't understand that was my first draft. So, it's a long story. We get into that later. Right now, we're going to focus on throwing up on paper. So in this assignment that I want you guys to take on, we're all going to write our own version of Cinderella, but just the opening, not the whole entire book, just the opening. How would you write Cinderella? There's 2 reasons why I want you to do this. This is just a spark for you to get your own, into creative juices flowing. But also, sometimes people believe that the reason why they want to write, but they don't know what to write, and they think that everything's already been written, everything's already been said. All the stories are cliche now. Who wants to read that? Well, yeah, everybody. There's a lot of people. You only need 1% of the market. So I write romantic thrillers, romantic fantasy. I write books, fictional books on spiritual warfare, things like that. That's not a genre that's for everybody. Not everybody wants to hear fictional stories on spiritual warfare. Not everybody wants to read, romantic thrillers about weird creatures they've never heard before. So everybody's different. Everybody's unique, but there are out there in this world, there's 1% that is looking for my book, that wants to read, what I'm writing and is interested in that genre. If you are one of them, please put 1% in the comment and I will send you a link to one of my books. So basically, write what makes you happy, write what makes you motivated. I know they say like you should write what people want to read. My issue with that is this. When I first started writing, there were two writers that I researched, and one was J.K. Rowling, and the other was, I forgot her name right now, but she's the author of Twilight. And so the author of Twilight, of course, she's American. J.K. Rowling is British. And in England at that time, they didn't have self-publishing. So self-publishing for fiction writing was new at that time. Self-publishing had been around for a long time, but mainly it was corporations and companies and coaches and speakers who self-publish. It was always nonfiction. It was new for fiction authors to jump into it. So that was the new part. We knew nothing. Had no clue what we were doing. It was a blind leading the blind. So I had to do a lot of research. And what I had liked with Stephanie Myers is she self-published her book, not because she wanted it self-published and that was the route she was going. She self-published it for convenience because she can send that self-published copy to I forgot the name of the agents, writing agents. She could send a copy of her book to agents to check out and to review. The thing is, when you self-publish, it goes on Amazon, right? Well, middle school and high school students started buying her book, reading it in school, and they loved it. So now, on one hand, she had the literary world was saying, oh, we don't need any more vampire stories. We have enough. I think people are finally tired and done and over with the vampire stories. And they don't care that her vampire glittered, okay? They just didn't care. So they were shutting it down. On the other side, you had kids in middle school and high school who were picking up who discovered this book and loving the story. They loved the story with Bella and everything that was going on, and Jacob and I forgot the other glittery vampire's name, but they loved it. Now this is the crazy part. What helped her is in the self-publishing part, just those kids that found her book and loved it and wanted more and couldn't stop talking about it, couldn't put it down. That's what got the literary attention that she's been seeking to now start looking at her book, and that's how she got published. That's how her book became a movie. So there's different routes. Now, I don't think that was her strategy. That was not her intentional strategy, but that's what happened, especially back then, because self-publishing, again, for fiction books was so new. She probably didn't think anybody would even see it, but they did. For whatever reason, they did. And lucky for her, that's how that book became was it like 4 movies now? It's history. The rest is history, literally, right? So apparently people weren't tired of vampires. So that's always my argument with when it comes to traditional publishing. It's a group of people who are assuming what people like and don't like. They really don't know. They're assuming. They're taking an educated guess based on the market and the market numbers and what people are purchasing. My rebellious mind looks at it this way. How do you know you're going to like something or not like something if you're not even aware that it exists, right? And I know there's always a good and bad to that theory. But my thing is, with the books that I write, if nobody knows that it's available, how do they know they're going to like it or not? I know that it's not going to have a huge base, but I don't need a huge base, right? So that's the cool thing. So I always say, write what keeps you motivated, that keeps you going. Because if you're writing something just to Get in there. That is another strategy. You can do that. You can write a book that's mainstream, that fits along with, whatever the crowd is into at the time. That is a way to get your book out there, marketing, and then write what you really want to write. And you can the problem with that is you can either gain more readers or lose a lot of readers, because now it's like what you really want, what you really like to write about. You kind of grew this market for people who like, you wrote about, Jack and Jill, and now you want to write about, Tom and Peggy. I don't know. So it's like, and that's not something that group is interested in, but another group of people might be interested in it. So it's complicated, and there's all these different strategies. But at the end of the day, you got to keep that motivation going. And if you have to force yourself to write that book, like force yourself to get that story out, and you're struggling with it, and it's like you're bored writing it, well, guess what? People are going to be bored reading it. So it's just something to think about. Your emotion ties into your words. So if you're writing something and you are nodding off and you're not tired, you're just literally bored, like your mind wants to go somewhere else, you need to take a break. You need to rest. You need to do something creative, or just relax. Go watch a movie, watch a TV show or something, and then come back and write and reread what you wrote. You might have to delete the whole thing and start over, So today, as your homework, you are going to write about your opening, your version of Cinderella. How would you write it? I did my part. You can write it 500 words or less. I went over a little bit. I wrote up to 575 words. So I went over a little bit. I'm going to edit this, and then I'm going to post it. But don't worry about editing and grammar when you write this. Just throw it on paper. Now, if you want to post it and you're like, hey, April, I don't mind if you use this on a future show to discuss it, to critique it. I'd like to see where I could have improved this. Then just, add that to the comment, and I'll be happy to do that. I'll do a special show for just critiquing. If you don't want to share your story, that's fine. You don't have to share it. The other thing is also, there's things that, I should have put it. There's different tools that you can use to write in. Write where you're comfortable. I use Pages, but there's Microsoft Word, there's Google Docs, there's Final Draft. If you're a college student and you're in film production, or anything to do with script writing, movie writing, then you know about Final Draft, and hopefully you know that there's a discount. There's a student discount, a really great student discount. So it's good to grab that program. But if you don't have that, you can literally write on anything, paper and pen. You can write on, your notes in your phone, wherever you feel comfortable. Go ahead and write it there, and then send me a copy. Please don't screenshot a picture of your handwritten letter. It's not. I'm not going to struggle to fight to read that. But yeah, if you want to share yours, I'll be happy to take a look at it, and just let me know if you don't mind me critiquing it in a future show, and I will be happy to do that. And all critique, it's not to be mean, not to shame anybody. This is to help you become a better writer. So that's what that's all about. So I look forward to our next episode. I'm trying to find the right day to post these on. I am thinking about doing it for Friday evenings. But if I'm going to do short little segments like this, I'll probably do it more often. Just let me know what days are best for you. What do you think? I'm open to suggestions. Also, in our next episode, we're going to get into outlines. So this was supposed to be a larger show, but I felt like it was too much to put into one episode. So I decided to just focus on the first step is just getting the creative juices flowing. That's what this exercise is about. So you're just going to throw up on paper, not literally, just throw up on paper with words and just see what comes out. Like no judgment, just write, no judgment. The theme is Cinderella, but it's your Cinderella. So you don't even have to call her Cinderella, okay? You could call her whatever you want to call her. This is your version, your version, your creative fingerprint. So all authors have a fingerprint, and this is what I'm helping you to bring out and create is your fingerprint. So I look forward to reading your openings of Cinderella, your versions, and I look forward to getting to know each one and every one of you, and I'm eagerly looking forward to our next episode. So our next episode will be about outlines. So I hope that you guys are ready, and we are going to get this book going. I'm getting you guys ready for NaNoWriMo, which is next month. Next month, November, we'll be writing from November 1st to, was it the 30th? And we'll be working on a book. The goal is to write a 50,000 word book. I'm not going to be writing a book. I'm always writing a book, but I'm not going to be in the competition. My focus is coaching you guys through that competition. So just get yourself ready. Then this is just to help get you an idea. If you want to write your version of Cinderella for NaNoWriMo, go ahead, do it. Whatever inspires you, and you might like what you would have written so much that you feel that, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to write this story. Okay? So I look forward to seeing you soon, and happy writing. Bye-bye.
Whispers turn to rivers when you write. Pages come alive in the pale moonlight. Every word you spin is a guiding star, leading hearts to places near and